Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our show brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. You see the website right there. Won't be long until mosquito season, folks. And these guys can help keep the mosquitoes away from your home or your picnic or your church function or the wedding that's coming up. If you're getting into spring and you're thinking, well, I really don't want those things sucking my blood, call Southeast Termite and Pest Control. They can do one-time treatments, weekly treatments, monthly treatments, whatever you need to keep the mosquitoes away. All right. Travis Haney of 24/7 Sports wrote an interesting piece about the SEC East this week. You might remember Haney as the person who wrote back in December the piece using the sources who said that Tennessee football culture is a disaster. Now, when I talked to people over there in the department, their response to me was, if there's one thing over here that's not a disaster, it's culture. Everyone said, I don't know where you're getting that. Take that as you wish. When you look at this piece, I think you have to keep in mind that this is a UT grad, and he wrote a pretty damning piece back in December. So anyway, he said that he talked to an SEC assistant, and that led him to write this. I think he's been benefited, that's the way they spelled it, from that AD change, one SEC assistant told us. If they had a stable AD, I bet Butch Jones, is gone. I know a lot of coaches who feel like they're kind of taking it easy on him, and I assume that means UT. I don't think he means coaches are trying to take it easy on him. It's been there for the taking for them. They never took it. Okay. Are you buying this, first of all? Do you buy that what this SEC assistant is selling? We'll get into the spin of it in a second. But are you buying that if not for an AD change, Butch Jones would have been fired after going 9-4 last year?
Not
in a million years.
Not even close.
No.
It has nothing to do with it.
It's a ridiculous idea. Let's say John Curry's hired a year ago, so he's fully entrenched as the athletic director at Tennessee. Does that mean after this past season that John Curry would have fired Butch Jones, going 9-4 back-to-back top 25 seasons? No chance in the world.
Or if Dave Hart had stayed here, you think he's going to get rid of the coach that he hired?
And now he's the one that's helping build the support staff for him. Somebody over there is approving all these NFL guys that are coming in to coach over there. No, it's ridiculous. The idea that, and I know there are people who want Butch Jones fired, but I think you nailed it. After you've been through the wilderness, it's hard to fire somebody for back-to-back top 25 seasons, even if you are disappointed about a crummy loss at South Carolina.
And even if you look at the SEC last year, what did Alabama and everybody else? Didn't you have a bunch of so how many other
everybody
coaches?
But Alabama.
Everybody but Alabama. So, and here's the other thing, John. And I said this back in December. I have a big-time problem with quoting anonymous sources. I don't mind using anonymous sources to tell you an idea of what's going on. Right. If somebody's going to come out with something this controversial, I know, and I know this is part of the internet thing, but I think they should put their name. I think they should stand behind it and say, this is what I said.
To me, an anonymous source is as good as the person using it. That's when a person uses anonymous source. When we've said stuff here on this show, you've sat right down there and said, well, my sources tell me. Okay, what if I sat here and said, no, name them or it doesn't count. So people are vouching. They know, okay, what has Chuck written in this town? How long has he been around? So to me, it's who is it that's saying it? I had people at UT who shot a million holes in Travis Haney's last piece. I find this a little sketchy for one reason. What SEC assistant at another school isn't going to take a shot at Butch Jones and try and make it look worse than it is? That's the thing. How much can you believe an SEC assistant when you're asking them about another program? Aren't they always going to be negative?
But aren't they recruiting against Tennessee too? Exactly. Isn't this as much about recruiting as anything?
Do I really care what an SEC assistant says?
Well, do you believe them? Let's say Travis Haney took this exactly down, perfect. Do you believe this SEC assistant is doing this? I'll give you an honest answer, even if it doesn't work in my favor. Come on, if you ask a Tennessee assistant, what do you think of what's going on in Auburn? Malzahn had a shot, but he blew it. That's just the way the game is played. So I think it's kind of silly to start there asking that kind of a question to an opponent's coach.
The first part of that statement is way off base. The last two sentences were correct. It's been there for the taking, and they haven't taken it yet. But the first part, off base.
Okay. A lot of coaches feel Tennessee is taking it easy. And now he says a lot of coaches feel they're taking it easy. I'm assuming he means Tennessee because it's tied into that earlier statement. I wouldn't say the fan base is taking it easy on him.
No.
I don't know that anybody's really taking it. But anyway.
And what's the athletic department supposed to do? Are they not supposed to take it? What does that mean? Because if you're talking
Well, I
about
guess
the
they're
school,
saying because they didn't fire him.
yeah. I mean, he didn't get a contract extension or raise. If that had happened, that would maybe be an example of the school taking it easy on him, but that didn't occur. So I don't know what else they expected the school to do other than fire him, which was not going to happen.
Now, I look at this and I think that it's who is writing it, and that tells you whether you can believe the anonymous sources. I talked to enough people at Tennessee, my sources, who their reaction was, okay, here's who Haney talked to. And if that's who he talked to, he went out knowing what the answers were going to be before he asked the question. Because there are certain people that were going to be ticked at Butch Jones. And if you go ask them, hey, anonymously, what do you think of Butch Jones? Yeah, they're not going to give you a good answer. So with that in mind, and Travis Haney's been around for a long time. I think he was Charleston Post-Courier, went to Oklahoma for a while, ESPN. But on this one, I don't know that I buy who he went to or why. Just my take. I'm sure he doesn't agree with everything that he would see on the Sports Source if he were in town watching. Maybe he's watching online. All right. What do the Hoops Vols need next year that they didn't get this year? And is it already on the roster, or is it in the signing class, or is it nowhere to be found? Come on back for a hard-hitting look at next year's basketball team.